Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to another Footyholics Career Mode episode, and this is Middlesbrough episode number 10, which is a big milestone for us, reaching our 10th episode of the series, as well as a big episode in terms of content, because we've got all the transfers to deal with, as well as 3 games this episode. So let's get straight to it. I mentioned that Watford is in 4th place in the league, and we don't even feature in the top 10. So that meant that we had to play our strongest side, and that's exactly what I did. Fortunately, everyone was fit, and Saido Berahino plays up top instead of Negredo, just because last episode I enjoyed playing with him, and he managed to score us a goal, and hopefully he can do the same in this one. So to start this match off, we start the attacking, and Fabio passes the ball out wide to Victor Fisher, who cuts inside, gives it to Sane, who passes it up the pitch to Ramirez, our playmaker. When he sees Adama making a run, he gives it to him, and when Adama has a shot, it's brilliantly blocked by their defender, and you can see how annoyed he was, because he thought he was in on goal there, and it was a brilliant block in the end. But from the resulting corner, Gallo decides to dribble back into his box. It's been won back by us, it recycled in possession, and what a ball, and what a shot that is. What a ball that was from Adama, who just clears it straight through all of their men, and Ramirez is in on goal, and he blasts it, rocket it against the crossbar, and unfortunately that was not 1-0 to us, but it really should have been. But now in this attack, Berahino gives it to Darun, who returns the favour to Gaston Ramirez, and when he has the shot, the keeper was there to make another brilliant save, and unfortunately, again for us, this keeper is just on form, or we're getting very unlucky, and that's how the half comes to a close, with both sides not scoring and not conceding. So a 0-0 draw so far this match, and you can see we've had a better half with 4 shots, 58% possession. They've only had 1 shot, and it was on target, but it wasn't even worth showing in the clips, to be honest. So to start the second half off, hopefully Gaston Ramirez, in potentially his last game for the club, if PSG comes in and matches our counter offer, will break us through, and we can somehow get a win in this match. So speak of the devil, he was on the ball now, gives it across to Adama, who gives the ball to Fisher, who plays a nice ball through to Berahino, but when the shot came off, it was just wide of the post, and it should have really gone in there. That was a great chance for Berahino, but I think Pantilimon may have had it covered, or judging how he played this match, he would have definitely had it covered. But anyway, Connor Wickham picks the ball up here, plays a brilliant through ball in, but unfortunately it was tackled by the defender, and unfortunately again, so many unfortunate things happened in this episode. But anyway, Victor Fisher had to take this free kick because Gaston Ramirez was not on the pitch. And although it was a good free kick, it was too close to the keeper, and Pantilimon made the easy save. But this is what I'm talking about. Bad luck. Pantilimon, from our free kick, boots the ball out wide. It was controlled down by one of their strikers. It was played a nice 1-2 with Deji, I think his name was, or something. Kabul, what's he doing up here, who knows? He plays the ball inside to the same Deji, and when the ball comes back out to Kabul, who crossed it in, Igalo is there to place the ball into the back of the net with an easy open header at the back post, and that unfortunately makes it 1-0 to Watford in the dying embers of the game. I think it's the 85th minute or something. So that's pretty unlucky for us, and we really, judging by how we played, should be 1 or 2 up by now, but unfortunately we're not. So that meant that Watford, who took their chance, are now 1-0 up. But our last play of the game, really, Aqua dribbles into the box, has a shot, and Pantilimon with another brilliant save. I don't know how many, but it's countless saves this episode, and that was right in the corner, and he manages to get this ball out wide, and unfortunately that means that we are going to end this match 1-0 to Watford, and we're having another loss in this series, and we have to pick it up. I can see rays of light in how we're playing with 8 shots, 4 on target, 54% possession against a side who's actually in the top 4, so we can't complain too much. And there's signs that we're a good team, and we can do this, we can rise up the league, but at this present moment in time, that is not the case. But anyway, moving on to the transfers now, we had to look at some replacements for our man Gaston Ramirez in case he leaves us. And as we said last episode, Rich is there. The team he's from is requesting 31 million, which is quite a steep price. And Kulu doesn't even want to well, Spurs don't even want to sell Nkudu. But here's the news. Gaston Ramirez has been sold to PSG for $25 million, of which we get 20 million. So when you check the budget allocations, that leaves us with about 17, 18 million and 100 on wages. So that's not too bad. We could potentially get 2 good players for that. And I'm just hoping that that was a good piece of business. In my mind, right now, it's a good piece of business. But we're going to have to wait and see. As we go in here for Rich, to try and get him in here, because we need a replacement for Ramirez, obviously. But 31 million is way too much for him. And we'll see what's going to happen with that one. But we also put in an offer here for Marcus Edwards from Spurs. Just a youth player to try and bring him in and maybe plays every now and again in the squad when everyone's tired. We also put in an offer for Nkudu for 7.5 million, and we're hoping for the best on that one. Someone else who was looking for was Maxwell Cornet from Olympique Lyonnais, and he seems that he'll be quite a good player to have. And we actually put in a bid for him for 6 million, I believe. Yeah, 6 million when his valuation was 9 million. And we're going to have to wait till after the next game to see what happens there. But for this one, we play against West Ham. And again, we're the lowest scoring side. Same old Middlesbrough. And we're hoping that with the signing of maybe Cornet or somebody else as a winger / striker, we can pull those goals out and no longer be the lowest scoring in the league. So in this one, we had to play a weakened side because the last game was right before this one. And Connor Wickham starts up top with Cristo Gonzalez right behind him. And we're hoping that together, although they're just bench players, they can play well together and somehow win us this match. And Cristo, he has a point to prove, because as I said last episode, he could potentially fill Gaston Ramirez's shoes now that he's gone. And let's just see what's going to happen. So the first attack of this game comes for us as we tackle the ball away from them. Cristo Gonzalez passes the ball, through ball to Wickham, who has a shot, and Adrian makes a point-blank save for Connor Wickham and stops him from scoring a goal in this match, his second of the season potentially, and that's very unfortunate, but that's exactly how football goes sometimes. With Cristo again playing well this match so far, passes the ball out wide. He cuts inside, and he has a shot, and Adrian again there to deny him at the near post. And there wasn't really much that went on this episode, but that was a great piece of play there with Adama passing Cristo the ball out wide. When he cut inside, he saw the near post open up, and he tried to get the ball, squeeze it in there, and unfortunately nothing comes of it. But from the resulting corner, Sané heads the ball, and it goes straight off the crossbar. So that's both games this episode we've hit the crossbar. But unfortunately, we could have been luckier and had it going in, but we're not. So that's how this half ends, with a 0-0 lead and a 0-0 tie. And West Ham hasn't had a shot all game, and we've got 3 shots, 57% possession, and we're playing well this game. So it's only a matter of time that we should score, hopefully. But we're going to have to see what happens here. As the next attack comes for West Ham, and Lanzini picks the ball up inside, passes the ball across to Payet, who sees his man, Zaza, but Nsue is there and clears the ball. Not before it goes straight back to them for a shot, but fortunately for us, it's just wide, and nothing comes of it. West Ham are attacking again, and Payet is looking dangerous now. He's passed the ball to Obiang, who receives it back from Kouyaté, who plays the ball across, and what a miss that was from Jordan Ayew, and that could have really been a goal for West Ham. We would have been out of that contest as our defenders tries to slide in, but nothing comes of it. So in the 90th minute, right before the end of the game, we have our last chance with Berahino, who's running in. He cuts inside, has a shot, and Adrian is there again. That's 3 or 4 brilliant saves he's made this match, and it's definitely been an impressive display for him, because normally under those circumstances, I don't think a keeper would have saved all 3 of them, potentially 1 or 2 of them. But as you see from the stats here, we bossed this game as well, with 7 shots, 4 on target, 55% possession, and Cristo Gonzalez, who's actually won man of the match there with a 7.6 rating, is really fighting for Gaston Ramirez's spot and says, "Boss, don't bring anyone else in, I got this." But we're going to have to see what happens in future episodes. But Maxwell Cornet, they accepted the offer for Max Cornet, and we put in a salary offer for him and hoping that he'll come to the club. But unfortunately, Spurs, who said they were never going to sell him, when our first inquiry comes back and says they want 15 million for him, which is too much in my opinion. So I put in valuation bid for him just to see what happened, and I renewed the bid for Marcus Edwards as well. Now in this one we had a little bit of training, and I just figured I'd break it up a little bit and show you guys. I'm still training them and they're still growing, and hopefully they'll keep growing, and we'll see what happens there. But Spurs accepted the offer for Nkudu, probably because he's in such bad form, and we're paying, I think, exactly what he's worth. So we're going to hopefully get him for that 10 million. And as well, they accepted the offer for Marcus Edwards, who's going to be a good youth player in future seasons, but for right now, not quite. So as we can see here, Nkudu accepts his offer as well as Edwards, and that is great news for us as we got our first 2 new signings for this season. And shortly after them, Maxwell Cornet accepts his offer, so that's the 3rd new signing in this episode. And hopefully they can come in for us. Now with this guy, Felipe Nicolas Avenatti, he's very tall and strong. So I figured I would get him and change the dynamic up top. Because right now we're kind of playing between Wickham, who's strong but not very tall. He's not really a great header of the ball. And Berahino, who's quick and agile, but we can't really seem to score with them. So I figured we'll switch it up, try and get someone who can head the ball really well, and maybe in future we can just try crossing the ball in and score that way, because we have to do everything we can to try and score in these matches and try and get ourselves off the bottom of the scoring charts and go from there. But for the next episode, you can see as a change of squad graphics, I guess, I don't know what to call them, but as you can see from them, we're now in the cup and we're playing Chelsea in the first round of the FA Cup for us, and that is crazy. Surely we could have got a team lower down. But anyhow, we have to take what we can get, and the first attack of the game comes through us, surprisingly, and Fabio runs down the line, cuts inside Ivanovic, but unfortunately he's tackled by Van Ginkel, I think it was, and the ball goes out for a corner. And from the resulting corner, we pass it across to Fabio, who dribbles inside from the short corner. Cristo Gonzalez picks it up, turns his man, has a shot, and bam, that's in. That's in for us. And Cristo Gonzalez, who's really stepped it up in the last couple episodes, manages to turn his man and has a shot, and it's gone straight past Begovic into the bottom corner. And he scored the first goal for us against Chelsea, who obviously is a very good team. So we need to be proud of that. But moving on with the match now, Jamie Vardy picks the ball up, and there's quite a lot of things going on here, and it's very, very scrappy as the ball comes in and out and in and out and in and out. But eventually it's picked up by Essien, who turns his man, has a shot, and it goes just wide of the post. And that really, really could have been a goal for them, and that would have put us 1-0, 1-1 in the match. And luckily for us, nothing really came of that. But again, it's a little bit scrappy here. Nkudu was tackled, the ball went to Cahill, but they tried to pass it around the back, and eventually it's been won back by the same Nkudu, and he passed it into Jonathan Lico, who fake shots his guy, dribbles inside, has a shot, but Begovic with a crazy save. Crazy. What a reaction save that was. And we get so unlucky with these, because half the time they were going, look at that save. He absolutely bushes it, and Begovic just kind of falls on it and makes it look so easy, but that was not easy at all. And that is what happens just before halftime as we go into the break at 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And we've been a little bit better in terms of shots, but they've had more possession this game. And fortunately for us, we've got Cristo Gonzalez to make the difference so far. And let's hope that we can keep that up and somehow progress in the cup. That would be absolutely outrageous to beat Chelsea in the first round, but we'll have to see by the end of this episode what happens. So there's really not too much to show you this half, but I decided to bring on Maxwell Cornet for his his debut, his substitute debut here. But watch this. This is a crazy FIFA glitch. I don't know what happened. I don't know why it happened. But when I made the substitution, Chelsea got their substitution. That animation came up, but we didn't get ours. And then the pitch just turned white. Like, what the hell? Yeah, sometimes I can deal with the stupid glitches that happen, but the pitch is white? How? Why is the pitch white? Why is it white? Who gave you permission to turn my pitch white? And not even show me the substitutions. I mean, this is ridiculous. It really is. But I mean, it's kind of funny at the same time, right? But anyway, eventually it slowly fades back to green, and Chelsea comes on the attack with Marcus Alonso. But the shot is a good one, but it's not quite away from Valdez, and he doesn't make a meal of it, and eventually he gets it. quite easily and pass the ball out. And in the final attack comes to us as Jonathan Lico dribbles around his man, has a shot, and Begovic, again, this clearly is the episode for keepers, manages to make the save, and that is how the match would end, with us winning and progressing in the cup by 1-0 to Middlesbrough. And I would say we played probably the better of the two teams that episode, and Fabio picks up man of the match there, fortunately. And yeah, that's how this episode is gonna end. So I hope that you all enjoyed it, and I really enjoy making the episodes. So if you guys could comment below and just let me know if you're watching it or how much you enjoy watching it, just let me know. And if not, that's okay too. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.